Thank you. Well, we welcome you all to the special event in which Jackson's Amtrak Station is being honored for its historical tie to the Underground Railroad in the early to mid-1860s. Although, in our case, the tracks transporting these freedom seekers were the tracks above the ground. We are fortunate to have with us Amtrak officials and Jackson's Mayor Derek Dobies, who would like to show their support for Jackson's pending application to the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom Project. At this time, I would like to introduce Derek James, Amtrak spokesperson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Derek James. I'm with Amtrak out of the Chicago office. I bring greetings from the 16,000 Amtrak employees and Amtrak leadership in Washington. Amtrak, as owner and manager of this property here in Jackson, we consent to its inclusion in the National Park Service's National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom as a designated site. Jackson was established in 1827, and the town further developed its commercial and industrial markets with the arrival of the railroad and with the arrival of the railroad. The Michigan Central Railroad Depot at Jackson is one of the oldest continuously operating rail stations in the United States, opening to passengers in 1873. But that was a building that predated this one. Since its earliest days, Jackson has been at the forefront of the anti-slavery movement, both for quietly helping those breaking the bonds of that oppression and for publicly taking political action. In 1992, the Jackson Station was listed as a contributing property within the locally listed Under the Oaks Historic District. In 2002, as Jackson Station was listed in the National Register of Historic Places, the station was listed under criteria A and C with a period of significance from 1872 to 1952 for its association with the Michigan transportation history and a distinctive example of the Italianate style. Architecturally, this wonderful building is important as one of the most notable 19th century railroad passenger stations in Michigan. Based on overall size, quality or uniqueness of its architectural character, and the importance of the community that it serves. It's been owned by Amtrak. We've been the stewards of this facility since 1976. The Jackson Station property retains its historical character, while there have been some changes and alterations to the station, such as in 1978, 2009, and 2010, the property still reflects the area's rich railroad history, which was central to Jackson's growth and development. Amtrak believes that the application to designate this site within the National Park Service's National Underground Network to Freedom lays the groundwork for a better understanding of the origins and operations of the Underground Railroad. It will create opportunities for the National Park Service, the community, and Amtrak to widely inform the public about its compelling story and potentially present a vibrant national heritage attraction. Amtrak looks forward to being permitted to display the National Network to Freedom logo when promoting events here at the facility. David Handera, Vice President, Stations, Properties, and Accessibility for Amtrak. Thank you.
Up next, I would like to introduce Jackson Mayor Derek Dobies.
Well, I haven't said anything yet, so hold your applause. But no, thank you, Maurice, and thank you for your work in what you do to advance appreciation for history that we have here with us today and really across our city. And I can't think of anyone better than Linda that really typifies some citizen here that we have that really goes above and beyond to draw the connections between our past and our present and our future, frankly. And this station right here has a a history not only in expressing the contributions that our city has made to transportation and infrastructure, not only on rail, but within the automotive industry, but now with the work that Linda and others have done here today, to make sure that this station is known for the work that it plays in expressing our values in terms of what we've done with our work towards a more equitable society and our work towards justice as well. So we're happy to be here today to support Linda's efforts to place the historic train station on the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom listing. Linda actually, I'll brag about her a little bit. She's been very instrumental in identifying other locations across our community that have also been contributing factors in helping African American slaves to escape towards freedom and land right here in the city of Jackson. Over the past 2 years, we've been honored to have 2 city properties included in that work, both the Mount Evergreen Cemetery in 2019 and then Bucky Harris Park it was last year. It seems like now a decade ago with everything that's happened over the past year, but we're excited. We're excited to include this as another place here in Jackson that was a contributing factor to our history, and the work that it plays to further shed light on the history and making sure the lives of these brave people are not forgotten. And as our city continues to move forward with various racial equity initiatives, it's important that we continue always to look towards the past and recognize those who first sought to dismantle white supremacy across our nation, across our state, and right here in the city of Jackson. So thank you. We appreciate your efforts and look forward to continuing to support this designation here at the historic station. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Linda Haas. I'm a Historical Society member who is conducting research on this property's connection to the Underground Railroad, and I plan to submit my application to the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom a little later on this month, but I would love to share with you just a few details of what I found so far. And in 1847, Jackson's railroad was accessed by 2 freedom seekers who were escaping slave catchers that were pursuing them on horseback. The first case involved a man by the name of Adam Crosswhite. Adam was born an enslaved American on a Kentucky plantation. In the early 1840s, he accessed the Underground Railroad and came to Michigan. He settled in Marshall, just west of here, and he lived very happily there for many years with his family. In 1847, his former enslaver located Adam, gathered a posse of 3 other individuals from Kentucky, and came north to forcibly capture Adam and his family and return him to Kentucky. But to make a very long story very short, the townsfolk in Marshall would have none of it. They intervened. They secretly transported Adam to Jackson's train depot, where Adam and his family boarded an eastbound train from the original depot to Detroit, and from Detroit they fled to Canada. The second case involved an enslaved American by the name of John White. John was also born on a Kentucky plantation, accessed the Underground Railroad to come north to Michigan. He found work with a Jackson farmer in 1847. He was working just to earn a little more money before he went on to Canada. His former enslaver also located him and generated an armed posse and came north with a little more flourish, just really wreaking havoc as he went, and created such a furor that the Jackson farmer was tipped off that he was coming and found out in the nick of time and was able to transport John to Jackson's train depot, where again a train was boarded, an eastbound train to Detroit. from Detroit, John successfully fled to Canada. And the common denominator to both of these escapes was the important role that Jackson's railway played in their freedom. Without the trains, which were, the iron horse was faster than the flesh and blood horses that were following. At that time, there was nothing faster than a train. So the trains literally meant the difference between life and death, and that's just part of why we're celebrating the train's heritage and the train's role in their escapes. I do want to point out that these escapes did not happen from this exact building. They happened in the original depot, which was located a block and a half east of here. But the original depot and this depot were part of a larger railroad hub. This downtown area actually was a railroad hub, a property owned by Michigan Central Railroad. The hub has been diminished over time. The original depot no longer stands. But this beautiful historical treasure of a building now remains as a remnant of that hub on property once owned by the Michigan Central Railroad, making this building an appropriate spot in which to honor the escapes that the railway made possible. And more than just escapes, they made the difference between life and death. So that's why we're here in this building today, because it is representative of that history. I'd just like to take this minute to express my appreciation to Amtrak. I just needed their approval, their authorization to proceed for my application, but I got much more than their approval. I got their support. And so just thank you, Amtrak. Thank you for your support throughout this ongoing process of Jackson's history and of our connections to the Underground Railroad. I'd like to thank the Michigan Department of Transportation representatives that are here today for their ongoing support, and Mayor Dobies, thank you for your support as well. Thank you for being here, and I'm glad to return the meeting to Maurice Imhoff, our Historical Society President. Thank you.
Linda, before you go, and it's been a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You are definitely passionate about this, and it's infectious. I wanted to also ask if the President of the Historical Society, Mr. Imhoff, if Mayor Dobies, and if Peter Annister, the rail director for Michigan DOT, could all step up here as well. We operate our passenger train service through this facility for the state of Michigan. We're part of Michigan's transportation network, and we couldn't do that without that partnership. Earlier, I read a letter from Amtrak leadership in Washington that will be accompanying your application to the National Park Service. So what I wanted to present to you is a commemorative letter signed by David Hendera, our VP of Spaces and Accessibility, in honor, and hopefully this big letter will get you a big round yes from the National Park Service.
Thank you.
Gather the officials behind and around the letter so we can get a picture of it. Peter, kind of have you there by Derek. We'll get another picture, an official post picture. Not so high that you can't see Linda. 1, 2, 3. We'll do another one, like a wedding. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Jackson County Michigan Historical Society, I want to thank you all for coming out and supporting this very inspirational piece of Jackson's history. Thank you all.